So we're going to look at some right turns today, turning right at traffic lights, junctions that might probably crop up on your driving test at some point if you're taking your test at Morden Test Centre. So this is the first one we're going to look at. It's a fairly straightforward, no filter lights, no filter lanes. So mirrors and signal on approach as you would normally, position in the right hand lane obviously. Now what we're going to do here is we're looking at what we call traditional offside to offside or right hand side to right hand side turn, but that does depend on what the vehicles coming the other way do. This junction has got a box junction here, so there's a yellow box junction which, as we all know, you can only stop in if you're turning right at a junction. If you're waiting to turn right, a set of traffic lights and your exit road is clear. Otherwise, if you're going straight ahead, you can't stop in that box junction, only if you're turning right. Normal sort of 2-car rule waits in the junction. There's quite a few cars ahead of us, so we might not get through on this phase of lights. We can see in front of us that the cars are going offside to offside. There is enough room behind the blue car, so I'm going to go up now behind the blue car. That black car can still turn behind me because I'm only the second vehicle. Lights are changing now, so I'm looking to go. I want to be away fairly promptly here. The other car come through a little bit late there, but we're okay. And as we turn into this road, this is a 20-mile-an-hour road. So that's the normal standard sort of right turn at traffic lights. So we're coming up to the same set of traffic lights again, but this time from a different direction. We're going to follow the signs for Sutton, which you can just see on your left there. So mirrors and signal to the right as a normal approach. You see here there's an extra lane off to the left, which is a left turn only. And so we're going to go for the same approach again. Traditional, or not traditional, but the ideal turn is to turn right offside to offside, so right hand side of the car to right hand side, so the other vehicle goes round. And there's no road markings here telling us to do anything differently, but sometimes if the other vehicle cuts across in front of us, we may have to go left side to left side or near side to near side. I'm not sure if this car's turning. Yes, they are. They haven't actually indicated, so you can really do with them going a little bit further into the junction here. Gone down a little bit further would give us a little bit more room, because at the moment we're sort of blocking the road up a little bit. Road ahead is clear. We can now make a turn. So that vehicle there not going in meant that I couldn't get in as far, so it's a good opportunity there to see that that first vehicle really needs to go in further and use more of the junction so that there's room for me to be behind them, because otherwise I end up blocking anybody who wants to turn right coming from the other direction, which could create a problem for them and could potentially create a problem on our test. So we'd like to try and avoid that if possible, so we need to see the other vehicle go in a little bit further and use more of the junction space. So we're approaching the traffic lights now on Sutton Common Road, just come up to the A217, and we're going to check our mirrors and signal right, going to make sure we've gone past that little right turn there, but don't give a misleading signal, and allowing enough room for the cars coming the other way. So again, this is a fairly standard set of lights coming from this direction and turning right onto A217 towards Cheen. Quite a queue of cars in front of us, it might take a little while to get through here potentially. Not sure it comes up on the video here, but you can, in the distance, this set of traffic lights has also got a fourth light at the bottom. That's a filter light that comes on. It doesn't come on every traffic light cycle here. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when the green filter arrow comes on, it will mean quite clearly that there's nobody coming towards you from the other direction. So it will then give you priority to turn. It will no longer be a giveaway and wait in the middle situation. So sometimes it comes on, sometimes it doesn't. I think it just works on different sequences. So there's already plenty of cars in the junction. It looks like it's moving now because I can't see anybody coming the other way. And the filter lights just come on there, as you can see, so there won't be any cars coming through from the other direction. And we can complete our turn quite safely without having to wait in the middle. So don't get those filter lights too often, not in that situation like that, but they're quite handy, helps the traffic to flow a little bit better sometimes when it's busy. Okay, so we're approaching another set of traffic lights shortly, but I just wanted to jump in a little bit earlier on this one. Just very recently there's been a speed limit change on this road, so at this point here it's coming back from 40 down to 30, as you can see the signs there on the side of the road. It's a fairly recent change, brought in by the TfL, the local council. We're approaching a set of traffic lights to do a right turn, and this is a different junction because it's got a separate filter lane. It's a bigger junction, and this lane is purely for turning right that we're going to be coming into. So initially this is a lane for going ahead as well, but ahead of us you can see here that we've got a lane going off to the right, a separate set of traffic lights, and this is just for turning right. This is a right filter lane with a right filter set of lights as well. So when our lights go to green, the cars opposite will get the same set of traffic lights so that they can turn to our left, which is obviously their right. We're going to follow the road markings. We have to make sure that the road to our right that we're turning into is clear. Lights are still green. I'm following the arrows. They're going the other side of me. And it's very important that the road I'm turning into is clear because I don't want to be blocking that junction up. So there's a possibility there that if it wasn't clear, if that road was very busy, I might still have to wait at the green light if I can't fully complete out of the junction, because otherwise potentially I'm going to be blocking the road up if those lights change and I haven't been able to move. I'm going to come up to another set of traffic lights now where we're turning right again, and this is slightly different. It's a fairly straightforward set of lights, but you'll notice the positioning here is a little bit trickier for oncoming vehicles. So this is one where we will have to turn in front, or what we call left to left side, near side to near side. So the filter lights come on again. If you look at the junction there, if there was someone coming the other way, I would still have to turn this side of them, but I can only do that when either I can see that it's clear, as in there's no oncoming vehicles, or the filter light has come on to let me turn, or those other vehicles have stopped. So until that filter light comes on, I've not got any priority. So if I'm turning what we call in front of the other vehicle, or left side to left side of the vehicle, I have to make sure that I can see that road is clear. I cannot take that risk of turning on the thought that it might be clear, or I think it's clear, but I've got to be very definite on that. So we're coming up to another set of traffic lights. This is a large junction in Ching, and we're going to be turning right. So as we can see here, we're moving into a right-hand only lane. I delayed the signal there a little bit later because there was a road on the right, and I don't want to give a confusing signal. So as you can see in front of us very clearly now, got a road marking telling me where to go. I've got to keep right of this little diamond that you can hopefully see in front of you. I've got a separate set of traffic lights here purely for turning right, and as on one of the previous junctions, the guys coming the other way have got the same thing. So there's no waiting in the middle here. As long as I can see that my exit is clear, which it is, I will be able to go when the filter light comes on. So I keep my eye on that exit. It's not too busy today, and I just make sure that I'm going to be able to complete it. So you can see the lights changing now to ahead and left turns only. You can see the arrow telling me exactly where to go. I've got to comply with the road markings, and I've got to make sure that I keep to the right of that diamond because the car coming the other way will be doing the same, keeping to the right of the diamond in their direction, and that way we won't get near each other. So getting ready for the lights to change, just checking the exit road is clear, which it is. Green lights, and we're away. So just keeping to the right of the diamond there. Okay. And that's a fairly straightforward right turn at a right filter set of traffic lights.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up to another set of traffic lights. Now this is quite a popular one. It's going the green lane, turning right onto the A217 towards Ching. Okay, so position in a right-hand lane. Now, as you can see here, this is a right turn only in this lane, but there's no filter on it. So just normal set of lights, but it is a right turn only lane, you can see from the road markings. There's already two vehicles in front, so I'm going to be waiting behind the line, but I'm looking to see one of those go. Now, as you can see there, they're going for offside, which is what we like and we would prefer to use. That vehicle is turning because they can see it's clear. And the lights are changed, so there's no opportunity for me to go. So this phase of lights here will be quite long, and what I'm going to do here is that I'm just going to watch what's going on while I'm sitting there waiting. If you can look ahead here, you can just about see that it's a very slightly curved junction ahead of us, and when we move off here we have to be very aware of the vehicle on the left hand side, because we just need to move out very slightly to the left because of this traffic island. It's just going to push us out a tiny bit, so I'm going to be aware of that vehicle. I want to get to the far side ideally, so I want to be away quite promptly. I ideally don't want that car to turn in front of me, the red car, because that's going to make things a little bit tricky for us to see whether it's safe to go in terms of positioning as well. But if they do that, we will deal with it in a safe manner. So we're just going to sort of draw an imaginary line here from the edge of the traffic island in front of us to the white line on the other side of the junction, and we don't really want to get over there. We mustn't get in the path of that red car. We've got to create or leave enough room for them to go around behind us, ideally. So the vehicles on the left and the right here are doing their right turns. They have got a filter lane, but we haven't. We've just got a standard set of lights here because this is not a particularly wide road, and the busier road is left and right here, but we are turning right. So waiting for the lights to change. Onto green. Just being aware of that vehicle there. So we want that red car to go behind us, that's good. Not getting over that line, don't want to get in their way. Looking down the road I'm turning into now, so you're going to see this when I start to turn. I've come far enough across for the car behind me. The lights have changed, he's not moving, now I can go. And that's that turn. So looking up this road now, building up some speed. It's a 40-mile-an-hour road. Just being aware of that vehicle on my left. And that's your sort of fairly standard right turn with that Gander Green Lane junction, quite a popular one on driving test routes. And it does come up quite a lot, can get quite busy there, and you have to be very aware of what's happening around you. But it's quite straightforward if everything goes smoothly. Okay, so we're approaching a set of traffic lights at St Dunstan's Hill, going back onto A217. And this is a slightly different one to what we've had a look at already, where this one here we will have to turn in front of the other vehicles. The road markings tell us this is what we're going to do. There's no filter light here though to give any priority, so we have to be particularly careful. Put the signal on quite late because there was a road on the right there. We don't want to mislead anybody. Okay, so the situation here is that it's very difficult when you're positioned up where that Jeep is to see whether the road ahead is clear unless there's no vehicles there. So I'm waiting here till there's enough space for me to move in. Okay, so I'm going to be behind this vehicle. Now I can't go at the moment because I can see vehicles coming in the opposite direction, and now my view is blocked. The lights have changed, light's gone red, now I can go. I need to be away promptly there, don't want to get caught by someone coming from the left hand side if I delay it. But I'm in a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit now. This is the road where they've changed the speed limit recently. It doesn't go back up to 40 for a little while. They've changed that to reduce the speed on approach to the junction. But as you can see there, it can be quite tricky to actually see whether the road ahead was clear. And if there is a vehicle blocking your view in the opposite direction, you're almost definitely going to have to wait until those traffic lights have changed or that vehicle is out of your way, because to creep across there would be potentially very dangerous with a very blind view of what might become any one of the other two lanes. Speed limit's now going back to 40, check my mirrors and gradually build up my speed. Okay, we're on a faster road now. We're approaching a set of traffic lights where we're going to be turning right. Check my mirrors, the signals nice and early. I want to get that lane changing in good time, don't want to affect anybody else. Now, because it's a faster road, I'm going to start signalling a bit earlier to give the vehicles behind me plenty of time to deal with what I'm doing. I'm going to be turning right at these traffic lights. Now, both lanes here can go straight ahead. I've got my signal nice and early, so it shouldn't be an issue. Now, you've got some road markings here that are telling me exactly where I've got to be. Okay, I'm not going to cut through that box at all. I'm going to take up my position without cutting into the others. And this other vehicle here, the silver one, will go around the back of me. I'm now looking for either a clear, safe gap in the traffic to turn without affecting anybody coming the other direction, or I'm looking for those traffic lights to change and making sure that the vehicles coming towards me have stopped. I can see a clear gap coming up after the silver car that's turning left. Next vehicle's a long way away, I'm safe to go. I haven't affected that vehicle in any way. And now back onto a slower road, onto a 20-mile-an-hour road. So readjusting from a 40 to a 20. Okay, so we're approaching another set of traffic lights to do a right turn. We've got a cyclist in front of it, slow moving traffic, just remembering that we have to give plenty of room. Cyclists, metre and a half is the minimum we want to give them. We need to give them plenty of room, we don't want to get close going past them. So we can see ahead of us, just about to see that there's a road marking telling us where to go if we're turning right. Now this particular junction here, I'm just going to make sure it's safe and go around these vehicles, which it is. This particular junction, the road markings tell you have to turn in front. So what we call left side to left side or near side to near side of the car. But the road markings are really faded, and they faded quite badly since they were repainted earlier, last year sometime. So you can just about make out those arrows, but they're not particularly clear, and it can be a little bit confusing for some people if they, especially when it's all a wet road. Much harder to see the road markings. But we're going to put our car in our first box on the right here. The vehicle opposite will turn to the left of us. We're going to have a very restricted view of the road ahead here and whether it's going to be safe to turn. So we're going to be extremely careful. We're only going to turn when we are sure that it is safe. Checking the lights about to change. Okay, so we're at our position here. Just about to see the road marking telling us this is where we should be. So the problem we have now is we actually can't see whether this road is clear or not. Lights are changing, checking that inside, making sure they've stopped, they're out of my way, and now I can go. Back onto a 20-mile-an-hour road again. So the problem there was that the positioning of the road markings were telling us where to go, but it meant we also couldn't see whether the road was clear. So we've either got to have a clear view or see that the vehicles have stopped. We need one or the other to be able to make that decision whether we can go or not. And even when we get that red light, we just make sure that no one's coming through and rushing through on a late red or anything like that. We must be ready to go because we don't want to get stuck in the middle. Okay, so we're coming up to another little interesting junction here. We're turning right. This is Middleton Road onto St Helier Avenue, or sometimes called Reigate Avenue, I think it is. So known locally as St Helier or Reigate Avenue. I'm going to be turning right here. I've got vehicles coming opposite me. Normally here, there's not often room for more than one vehicle. There might be here, we'll see. We're the first vehicle. So this vehicle, the motorbike's going behind us, which is excellent. That's what we prefer. We can't guarantee that. And the learner car's gone behind it. There's not always room for two vehicles here. It's one you've got to judge when you get there and just see if there's enough room, because what you don't want to do is block the path of someone else coming from the other direction who wants to turn right. And that all there's worked quite tidily. Sometimes when we deal with that junction, it's not so easy to make that turn. There might be a bus there, and there might be vehicles cutting across in front, because quite often people do that junction. So you've really got to be aware of what's happening, how your positioning or the other vehicle's positioning is going to affect us. And the main thing there is to be patient, but be promptly away when safe to do so. Right, we're approaching another right turn. It's going to be our last one for today, and it's a slightly different one. We're going to be turning right, so we're on a two-lane road. We need to safely get into the right-hand lane. Road sign ahead of us, we want to turn right for Lower Morden. You can see here there's a no right turn on the traffic lights. So our right turn is a separate set of lights just after the crossroad lights here. This was put in a few years ago to improve the junction, to reduce the risk of accidents. So I'm not signalling right at the moment because I can't actually turn right at these lights. Okay, you can see hopefully on the video on the bottom of the traffic lights there's a no right turn sign on the lights. So as I go past the first set of lights, I'm going to signal, and that will get me ready and make the car behind me aware that I'm going to be turning right at the next set of lights, which is just a little bit further up the road, not particularly far. So as I go over the lights now, I'm starting to signal. I'm going to pull in behind this black car. There's a separate lane for me to pull into. Okay, so now I'm in a protected right turn with a separate set of lights as well. Now I can't turn right here until those lights go green, even if there's nothing in front of me. And I also need to make sure that the road I'm turning into is clear, because again, I don't want to be causing a blockage at these lights. Anyone might be coming through, I might get stuck there. So normally that road stays quite clear, but it can be very busy at certain times of day. I need to make sure on any right turn that I can complete it if I'm going to enter that junction. So the lights are going green. it's quite a straightforward turn. And the road here goes round to right, everything here goes round to the right. And then I'm turning left at the end of the road. This would take me back towards the test centre. Sure it's clear, which it is. That's that right turn. Slightly unusual one, you don't see too many of those, but it's a good one to note because it sometimes crops up on some of the test routes. Okay, this is the last junction we're going to do today, turning right, and this can sometimes crop up at the start of your driving test. So we just pulled away side of the road right near the test centre. Coming up to set of lights, we're going to turn right towards the M25. Okay, now we're going to be in the right hand lane as per normal, but the slight difference on this set of lights is, and if you've not been here before, this is somewhat unusual, is that we're turning right, so we're in the lane that can turn right or go straight ahead. There's no filter on these lights, so just as you can see, there's the normal 3 set of lights, red, amber, green. But when our lights go green, the vehicles opposite us will have a red light. Now the only way we would have of knowing that is the fact that they're not actually moving, which is quite unusual. So normally, unless you've got a filter on, both sides of the road would usually get a green, and then you would stop in the middle to turn right, and then you would turn when it was safe to do so. But as you can see now, the vehicles are coming towards us from the opposite direction. Our traffic lights are still on red, so quite clearly we can't go at this point. When our lights go to green, the vehicles opposite us will have a red light. Now we don't know that other than the fact that they're not moving. So the vehicles ahead of us on the other side have stopped. Our lights are now green. Therefore, providing the lights stay green long enough, we won't need to stop in the middle. We won't need to stop in the middle at all. So the lights are green, there's nobody coming the other way, there's no filter light on there to give us priority. It's just the fact that those guys that were opposite us have got a red light. Okay. As I say, that's quite unusual. You don't often see that set up with traffic lights. Just something, again, that they put in locally, help the traffic flow, and it seems to work quite well. But if you've not been here before, that can be quite unusual because people would move into the middle and be thinking, well, I need to wait in the middle. But you'll be seeing that the other vehicles won't be moving, and that will enable you to go. And that's right outside the test centre, so that could potentially be in the first minute or so of your test. It's just quite handy to know and to be aware that that might be the case. You could, at that particular set of lights, you can turn left, right, or go straight ahead at the start of your test. They use all different directions there. Wide variety of test routes in Morden. And just these junctions that we've been doing give you an opportunity to look at the different situations that might occur. Not covered every single set of lights on the test centre. Up in the test routes, but we covered quite a few of the different varieties, and hopefully this will have helped you. But the most important thing you can do is practice. Practice your instructor, or with whoever is taking you out in your car, your family member. The key to any success will be practice, not just learning things off of a video, but to actually go out and experience it whenever you can. Best of luck on your driving test, and hope it goes well for you. Bye bye.